regarding that, it has nothing to do with philosophy, because the GBC overwhelmingly accept that women can and should be gurus. There's no philosophical, really, I mean, there's no significant philosophical disagreement. I mean, there's always, a few people, Hare Krishna, but I'd say overwhelmingly, it's political. And when I say political, I don't mean dirty. Well, it's because there's a relatively small group of people. It's like a culture war. There's a relatively small group of people who literally would probably rather put down women than go back to Godhead. And if I can just be very honest, I think they have, certain pathologies. I won't mention their names. And I don't think they're healthy. And it's a question, and basically ISKCON, I guess you're adults, right? So I guess I'll just be honest. ISKCON is facing the same issue that every truly international religion is facing, and that is culture wars. Because if you look at, for example, in America, in first world countries, there's overwhelming support among Catholics, among Anglicans, for women being priests. Very strong support. You go to places like Latin America, Africa, some other third world countries, much more conservative, and there's a lot of opposition to it. And so it really comes down to these culture battles. So I would say in the Western world, there's overwhelming support for women to be gurus and whatever else they want to be, if they're qualified. And the opposition, there's some opposition coming from the West, but almost all of it is coming from other places where they have a different culture. And what makes it really, in my mind, frankly, reprehensible is that they falsely plead, and the worst ones, I think, are not even the Indians, the native Indians. It's Western devotees who are have become super Hindus. And I think they're actually much worse than the Indians. And so they use this completely false argument that they are being sensitive to the culture of India, which is complete nonsense, because there are innumerable famous, powerful women gurus in India among Hindus. So this false argument that they're just being culturally sensitive in India, of course, completely wrong. And as we know, putting down women like this is, one of the most efficient ways to destroy any chance of the Hare Krishna movement succeeding in the Western world. And these people who are literally, it's their life mission to put women down, which I think definitely reveals a very strange psychology. But none of the people who oppose women gurus has shown any significant success in bringing Western people to Krishna consciousness. And all the devotees who are actually successful in helping souls in the Western world don't go for that. So again, if you understand that these cultural battles go on in all religions, and the world's becoming increasingly polemicized and polarized, then it's not just ISKCON. It's not just that, what's wrong with devotees. Frankly, we have these problems in ISKCON to the extent that we have devotees who are not, to be honest, that Krishna conscious. If you look at the history of Vaishnavism, the real enemies of the Vaishnavas in India, there's always the impersonalists, sort of like the philosophical opponents. But the people who are really, I say in a more analogous way, the enemies of Vaishnavism were the smartas. And the word smarta comes, and so these people are the new smartas. I'm going to explain that. Because the word smarta comes from the Sanskrit word smriti, which is, it means memory. It's also a category of Sanskrit literature, the smriti literature. And so it's specifically in one category of smriti literature that you have these endless rules and technical things. Some of them are misogynistic, some of them are, it's not all revealed scripture. It's just Sanskrit literature that, a bunch of people thought we should listen to. And some of the smriti literature is divine, absolute literature, like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyway, so it's the smartas who always said that No, someone that's not born a Brahmin can't become a Brahmin. And therefore, people not born in caste Brahmin families can't worship deities, can't be initiated, can't serve in various ways. And the funny thing is, these smartas, who I really think are the legitimate representatives of the smartas who have always attacked Vaishnavas, and I think some of them are attacking real Vaishnavism from within the Hare Krishna movement. That's my personal opinion. Some of the loudest ones are Western, who, according to the smarta regulations, cannot be Brahmins, cannot speak for the Vedic literature, cannot give any opinion on any of these topics in a learned assembly, cannot be initiated. And so what they do is they refer to obscure Sanskrit texts that no one ever paid much attention to try to override everything Prabhupada said, everything Lord Chaitanya said, everything the Bhagavatam says. And so, I think that's really what's going on. I don't want to, despite its antiseptic nature, I don't want to BS you. So I think that's what's really going on. And I think you're an adult, you've given your life to Prabhupada, and you have a right to know it. That's what's really going on, is a resurgence of a very old problem with smartas, so-called Brahmins, who are smartas, who try to lord it over other people and put other people down by all kinds of technical ritual principles, and who completely miss the real point of Vaishnavism, which is that everybody gets a fair chance. So that's what we're seeing. And they try to cloak it in the garb of, well, we're doing it because, we're preaching in India, you have to be culturally sensitive, which is complete nonsense, because everyone knows that in India, Indians have no problems with women gurus, and there's many of them, and there always have been many of them. So that's what we're really facing. So I think the GBC, and I give them credit for this. I give them credit for this. I don't criticize them for this, are trying to keep ISKCON together. And I think that is something which is so valuable and essential that it's worth trying to work things out, not to just destroy ISKCON. But that's what's going on. And I think devotees in ISKCON have a right to know what's really going on.